Being a certain size will not make me happy. This is something that I learned when I looked back on all of my old pictures and I realized that I was so skinny, like way skinnier than I thought I was. And I can only see that now looking back in retrospect, because I can compare it to more updated pictures, but also it is just crazy to me how I was convinced that I still had so much weight to lose. I was really so unhappy still. And now that I've gained weight, I'm actually much happier than I was when I was skinnier. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but you know, I realized that weight is not one of them. So it is definitely not something that is going to make you happy. So if you're looking for this to make you happy, you need to look again, because weight is not it. Food can be eaten for fuel and for experience and comfort and nostalgia and happiness. I mean, food is not just fuel, and I know that some people might disagree with me, and there is a limit to what I'm saying in a lot of ways, because I don't mean use food as a coping mechanism, but I do think that food is to be enjoyed and shared and experienced, and you know, I don't think that you should restrict yourself from that just because you want to lose weight and look a certain way. Have you ever heard of the phrase that nothing tastes as good as skinny feels? Yeah, I totally disagree. I think that there are so many things that taste good that taste even better than skinny. If you know what skinny is, I don't know what skinny is, but there are so many things when I think about if I had to give them up again when I was eating so clean, I just wouldn't want to do it, because there are so many things that just make me happy, like candy and cakes and cookies and things that I don't eat all the time, but I eat when I want and makes me happy. Food freedom is not always a comfortable experience, at least at first, okay? So a lot of people rave about food freedom, and they think that it's like the best thing in the world, and it is incredible to be able to eat whatever you want and not feel guilt from it, but it is super uncomfortable at first, like super uncomfortable. You're rewiring the programming in your brain, and it is not the most comfortable thing in the world. So it's definitely something that it's uncomfortable on one hand, but on the other hand, it's necessary to heal. Being skinny is not an identity. I used to think that people would look at me as like, oh, she's the skinny girl with blonde hair. Like, being blonde is not an identity. Having blue eyes is not an identity. Even being white is not an identity. Like, my identity is who I want it to be, and I don't want my identity to be skinny. Gaining weight does not mean that you're unhealthy. Reconditioning will not happen overnight, and consistency is key. This is so important. I can't even explain to you. Consistency is the most important thing. You need to keep showing up. Feeling sad about gaining weight, in my opinion, is part of the process, because you're changing and you're kind of mourning the old you in a lot of ways, and that's okay. But just because you mourn the old you doesn't mean you hate the new you. So don't get those two confused. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to still accept yourself and be sad. Everything will just kind of move along with time. So don't pressure yourself into moving too fast through things. Feel your emotions, deal with them. Eventually, things will change. A bad body image moment does not equal a bad body image, okay? You can look at yourself and be like, ugh, no. That doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It doesn't mean anything negative. Just as much as a shitty moment does not define your life, okay? A shitty moment doesn't mean you have a shitty life. All right, we know that there are good times and there are bad times. There has to be that contrast in life. And in order for you to appreciate the good times, there are some bad times that come along with it, and that's okay. Just remember that it's part of the process. Especially if you're trying to purposely gain weight, if you are aiming at the goal of gaining weight for your health, celebrate your small wins. If you're eating something that at one point was a little bit scary for you to eat, celebrate that. If you're gaining weight, celebrate that. Even though it might feel really hard, you know deep down that that is your overall goal. Celebrate it. Celebrate every step of the way because it's going to make it easier in the long run. Clothes are meant to fit you. We are not meant to fit clothes. This is so important, and this is something that I struggle with every single day. Clothes are meant to fit you. We are not meant to fit clothes, okay? I have grown out of all of my bottoms. My jeans, my shorts, everything. I've grown out of them. My tops a little bit less, but I've still grown out of some tops. But my shorts, I cannot even pull them up anymore. My legs are too big. My bum is too big. You know, I panicked when my clothes didn't fit and I wasn't sure what to do. And I was like, oh no, Sam, how can you be the person who gained so much weight that you have to buy a new wardrobe? Like, I was convinced that my extra smalls were gonna fit, and my smalls, but mainly my extra smalls. I was convinced that my extra smalls were gonna fit me, that my 34 jeans were gonna fit me. I was convinced that if I gained weight in my lower half, it would be toned and tightened enough that like I would still fit into my jeans. Girl, no. They do not even go up past like mid-thigh now. And that is super hard for me because this is technically the biggest that I've ever been. And honestly, the most comfortable and most confident I've ever felt in my body. So there is definitely something to say about that. It's all about the work that you put into rewiring and reframing all of the ideas around gaining weight. Your weight will fluctuate daily. Okay, let me repeat that. Your weight will fluctuate every single day. Even amongst a few hours of each other, your weight will fluctuate, okay? That's why there's things called a morning body, all right? It's not outrageous or unheard of to think, oh, my body is smaller in the morning. Yeah, because you didn't eat all night, okay? So after you eat, it's super normal to have a little bit of expansion in your stomach. That is where the food goes. Now, bloating is not normal. It's common, but not normal. Okay, now I do bloat sometimes, especially when I eat soy, but it's not normal, it's common. And if it's super serious bloating and it's something that is painful and something that happens all the time, definitely speak to a doctor. But if it's just a little bloating or a little puffing here or there, that's okay. All right, I don't think that you need to see a doctor for that. Now, I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me, but that's okay. It's fairly common for a lot of people, not just women, but a lot of people to become a little bit bloated after they eat. And that is all the food kind of moving around in your stomach, depending on what we've had earlier, and you know, food combining on all of those different things. So don't be alarmed. That's okay. Your weight will go up, it will go down, your body will look different throughout the day, okay? I did this reel on Instagram where I filmed my body over the course of a week, and it was just shocking how much my body had changed over that week. But it just goes to show you that not every day is different and not every week is different. Not every day is the same and not every week is the same. Okay, so this might seem a little counterintuitive, but weighing yourself may actually help you and detach you from the numbers on the scale. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If you are weighing yourself on a consistent basis and you see the fluctuations up and down, and you notice one day you wake up and you feel super lean and super good and you're having a really good body image day, you know that you can weigh yourself and you can say, oh wow, I'm this weight and I feel great. And then in the next few days, you might feel terrible about yourself, and then you can get on the scale, weigh yourself, and see that you might be the same weight. You might even be smaller than the weight previous that you felt great at. And then you realize that it's not actually about the weight on the scale, it's really everything that's in your mind. Everyone is consumed with themselves. Trust me when I say no one cares if you wore the bikini to the beach. You might think all day about if you're gonna wear a bikini at the beach. You're so worried about what people are gonna think and whatever. First of all, if people are thinking something, you don't know what the heck they're thinking. Who cares? Keep your business to yourself. Let their business be their business. Okay, I feel like to be the brown, but that's their business, honey. And if they are commenting on you, it is truly just a reflection of how insecure they feel about their body. So in that moment, all you can do in order to, you know, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is to kind of have sympathy for them and empathy and understand that they're also going through some things and they might be having a bad body image day and they just want to kind of put it on someone else because that's how they know how to cope with it. So just remember, if somebody does actually comment, that means that they're probably going through something as well. So I feel like now it is cooler than ever to be like your authentic self. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Like in the past, it was like cool to be like a fangirl or cool to be like emo or popular or preppy, but I really feel like the coolness lies in embracing your own self, your own unique self. And the more you feed into that, the more people will love you exactly for who you are, and you won't feel the need to place so much attention on the way that you look. I am so blessed to have a healthy body that's able to gain weight. So there are a lot of people out there that aren't able to gain weight for health reasons, and I just remind myself that me gaining weight is an indication of me being healthy, and that is okay. Okay, so losing weight is normally an indication of you know, if you're not intentionally doing it, it's an indication of being sick. So I just remind myself that I'm super blessed, and I take it day by day with gratitude and appreciation, and it just makes my heart feel better. Sizing is so overrated, and so are mirrors. Okay, so sizing is literally different in every single company. There is not one company that follows this standard sizing. It's crazy. Like, I'm sure as a woman, if you're a woman watching this, you know this, even men probably, women's sizing is absolutely insane. You can find a small that looks like a large and a large that looks like a small and vice versa and everything in between, okay? So do not place your worth or any type of feelings when it comes to size and numbers, because it truly doesn't matter. It's very, very arbitrary. And mirrors are designed in a lot of stores to make you feel super bad, which I think is super stupid, because you would want people to feel super good whenever they come out in their clothes. But some mirrors are just screwed up, they're warped, they have, you know, these weird angles going on, and you may look bigger than you actually are, and it's just so screwed up. So don't place any type of weight on that whenever you look at yourself in a mirror. There are literally a ton of other women just like you who have gone through these same exact feelings. Okay, you are definitely 100% not alone. I believe sharing your struggles only makes it easier to work through. So I like to share my struggles on Instagram mostly. I believe that it's so much easier when you share these things, and with friends or a therapist. I think therapy is like the best thing that anyone can do for themselves, no matter what they're going through in their life. Even the most sane and put together person can use therapy. Therapy is just like, therapy is a really, really amazing gift that you can give yourself. That's what I think. Content is everything. Like when I said you need to rewire your when I said you needed to rewire your brain, you really need to rewire your brain, okay? Content is everything. If you're consuming skinny fit inspo, your whole Instagram, Facebook, that is going to put your mindset in a different place, okay? If you are consuming body positivity, body confidence on Instagram, making sure that you are doing everything you can to put the positive messages in front of your eyes while you're rewiring your brain, this is by far the best thing you can do. Now, I don't think that you need to unfollow these people forever. I think that this is super necessary in the beginning when you're trying to establish, you know, the right mindset behind gaining weight. But after a certain point, I think it's super cool to be able to integrate that back in. After a certain point, I realized that that is something that I should be able to look at and not think anything of it. So it was just a conditioning thing that I needed to go through, and I think after the initial conditioning, it's okay to introduce that back into your timeline, your feed, whatever. You know, you can see that and you can be able to see it for what it's really worth. Working out does not need to be for weight loss. You can work out just because it makes you happy, and you don't need to be consistent. You don't need to do, you know, workout routines and schedules like others. Like, you need to do what makes you feel good. And if working out once a week makes you feel good, or once every other week, or 5 times a week, whatever makes you feel good, you do that for you. Working out does not need to be a consistent thing if you don't want it to be. With all of that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe down below, because I feel like if you watch until the end, you should subscribe.